pass to Johnson. Johnson still going. Dummies again. Johnson into the way to Brown. Brown goes in to score.
Oh, he's serving it down the touchline. Oh, this is unbelievable. They're gonna win it. Oh, what scenes here, what scenes. LeBron James, a shot at history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James.
All right, we're on. How good. The 2025 season of Surly Talk Sports is here after a good little summer break. Hope you had a doozy as well. Fair to say I made the most of the good weather, tucked into plenty of tins, had some great times. Do have to say, shit, the old build-up for it is massive, and then it seems to fly by. Months out, you start to get excited about the Christmas and New Year period, and then within a week, she's all done and dusted, but managed to head down to R&V, had myself a great time there, hit up Fisher, went to Luke Combs last weekend, Sal GP too, so I've had my fair shares of sends, and now I'm ready to rip into what is going to be another huge sporting season. Shout out as well to the legends at the TAB. Once again, they've jumped back on board as your headline sponsor for the Surly Talk Sports podcast. So that means we're going to have those exclusive podcast listener codes for you each week, plus the old Surly Boost will be back, and I reckon I'm going to run back the People's Parlay as well once NRL season hits. So looking forward to that, plus many more great things ahead with the TAB. This weekend, of course, Karaka Millions. So they've rolled out a bonus cash deposit match code for you as well. You can get up to $100 in bonus cash when you activate your personalized deposit match offer in the promo section. So jump on your TAB app, head along to the promotions section. You'll have your own bonus code offer right there. Chuck that in, then you'll get yourself a nice little deposit match. You can spend that bonus cash on anything. It doesn't have to be Karaka Millions too. So you can tuck your teeth into plenty of the sporting action this weekend and have yourself a flutter. Courtesy of the TAB, you can't beat that, and can't wait for the Karaka Millions this weekend. A big pod today, going to cover off your NRL news. Of course, there's been plenty going on in the greatest game of all, rugby league, the sport that literally doesn't sleep. We'll have some NFL chat with the NFC and AFC championship games this weekend, some punting, and special guest, highly sought after too. He's been the talk of the town lately. Our good mate Shaun Stevenson, live from Japan. So let's get into that yarn now.
Vamos.
How are we?
Good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, no complaints, mate. No complaints. Bloody 55 minutes later, mate. You've been at the gym. What's the go?
Sorry, mate. Yeah, just been getting it all a bit of a bye week. So as you do,
Yeah,
blow out
fair.
the cobwebs. Blow out the
Fair.
cobwebs. So yeah, it
Oh.
should be ready to go. Hopefully, 80-minute performance next week.
Oh, we're actually already recording, bro. So we'll just
Oh, nice.
keep rolling into it. But obviously, you're over in Japan, mate. A nice little background there. You got yourself what, a little two-beddy place to yourself?
Oh, actually, 3 beddies. So Kubota have been pretty generous to myself and put me up in a pretty nice apartment overlooking Tokyo Bay. So yeah, no complaints. No complaints there. So yeah, very grateful. Like I said, to be able to I guess live in a pretty nice location and only about 30 minutes out of Tokyo. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. So even when it's winter here, haven't had much rain, which has been nice. It's been quite a bluebird day every day since I've been here, so it's been nice.
Mate, you've been there a couple of weeks. What's been the biggest culture shock? Have you had a moment where you've just been like, Struth, I'm far from the North Shore now?
Yeah, I'd probably say the supermarket's been the hardest part. It's not obviously there's a lot of fresh. Japan's a very clean country, so it is very fresh, but it's all in Japanese. So bit of a guessing game at the moment, but haven't got sick yet, so I'll take that as a win. But yeah, probably just that, to be honest. I mean, obviously the language barrier, but just been picking up little bits and bobs here and there during training, and just a couple of the main words just to get by. So try to speak a little bit, but then I do say like, hello, how are you in Japanese when I go out, and then everyone thinks that you can speak fluent Japanese. And I'm like, no, no, no.
Bro, I was
Just
gonna
little, just
ask.
little, just
I
little.
was I was gonna
Yeah.
ask about your Japanese because there was a photo Kubota posted saying you made your debut, and it was like a swipe across, and at the end it looked like you were like full addressing the team, and I was like, surely he's not that good at Japanese. What was that about?
Yeah, nah, pretty good over here, bro. Like we got two translators, so yeah, actually in that photo that you saw, I actually just did my whole speech in one bit, and I like fully forgot when when you get in a bit of a rhythm with about addressing the team and stuff that you're only meant to be doing like one sentence, and then the translator will say it in Japanese. But I was just on a roll, bro, and I completely forgot. I said my whole speech, and then after the guy afterwards, the guy started doing it, and I just completely forgot. And I was like, sorry, bro, like completely forgot that I'm just meant to do one sentence, then they translate one more sentence, translate. So that's how it normally goes, even during training. So um, yeah, it's. I mean, at training it's pretty good. Everyone is covered with whether it's someone that's speaking Japanese from the team, will gets translated back into English, or if it's a foreign player, they're pretty good at translating it back into Japanese sort of voice. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, because you got Brynner Hall there, obviously, your Northcote and North Harbour teammate, and then there's guys like Bernard Foley and that there too. So has that helped having Bryn there?
100%, and I guess two players that are in key positions for
Mm.
myself as 9 and 10. That's been pretty big. So yeah, obviously Bryn's been over there a few years now at a different team, but yeah, it's always nice just linking up with familiar faces, and he's only about 300 or 400 meters away from me, so we all kind of live in the same area. So yeah, it's been good. Like yeah, we got a bit of a carpool. It's called Right Side Strong, I think, or Left Side
Oof.
Strong, one of the sides. There's heaps of foreigners all in the same area, so we all, like, well, yeah, we all take turns. I haven't got a car yet, but so I've just been jumping in with them. But no, it's been good. The boys have been real welcoming. All the foreigner boys live in the same area, so yeah, it's been good having a familiar face like Bryn, and even at training, just giving me the little heads up here and there, and what not to
Yeah.
do and what to do, and that's been good. So, and the Jet boys have been real welcoming. Obviously, that first couple of weeks always a bit, trying to get everyone, get to know everyone, but
Mm.
yeah, it's been good the last week. Everyone's kind of opened up and cracking jokes and whatnot, so it's been good.
How was the debut, bro? Because it was pretty wild. Like you went over there, came back. 1 minute you're with us at Fisher, the next minute you're coming off the bench. Like 3 days later, bro. Was that always the plan? And how was that first experience of Japanese rugby? Because I can imagine it's pretty different to here in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's been a bit of a roller coaster the last 3 or 4 weeks. Literally found out Christmas Day that I was coming over here, and then I flew out 27th of December over, trained for a week, and obviously it was holiday time here as well as back home. So try to weasel my way into the embassy, the Tokyo embassy. I think it was like fifth or sixth, the first Monday after the holiday break, and they said it was going to take 1 or 2 weeks for my visa to come through. So I literally jumped on that flight that night, came back home, and then Tuesday morning, 9 a.m., so completely 24 hours. I was in Auckland trying to get my visa over that side. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And obviously, yeah, like you said, managed to get in a little gig with you guys and celebrate my New Year's with you guys. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then, yeah, literally got my visa the Tuesday, flew out Wednesday, got on. Oh, sorry, yeah, got my visa Tuesday, flew out Tuesday night, got on Wednesday morning, did all my admin, set up, had to go to City Hall, get my residency card, set up a bank account. So it was pretty much an admin day straight off the flight, and then straight in training Thursday, captain's run Friday, and then a little 30-minute cameo off the bench on the Saturday against Rico. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy 3 or 4 weeks, but no, I love it. It's been an awesome ride so far, and yeah, like I said, I'm obviously just real grateful for Kubota for reaching out and getting me over there. So yeah, and yeah, so bye week this week, and then get ready for a 5 week block.
Yeah.
Against first game up against Mitsubishi. So, and yeah, just to touch on I guess what the 30 minutes was. It was very, very, very fast paced game, and obviously I just came off the plane and whatnot, so the lungs are pretty sore, and it's not as hot. Um, well, yeah, it's winter over here, so it's breathing in the cold air, and the lungs were pretty sore. So yeah, it was pretty fast paced. I mean, the contacts probably wasn't as hard as Super Rugby, um, but in terms of the overall standard, like it was pretty sharp, and yeah, I was very impressed with how good the Japanese boys are with their skill set, and I guess yeah, just the way that Kubota play and in general really suits my game. So yeah, very fast paced attacking shape, and how they want to play and attack from anywhere, and using the kicking game as well. So yeah, like I said, I'm very excited to yeah, once we get into that 5 week block, rip into it.
Just wanted to touch on how it all came about, bro, because it seems like this is almost a first for New Zealand rugby, right? You're going over to Japan, coming back to play for the Chiefs, and then going back to Japan. Like, how did this all just pop up? You were obviously set on going to the Chiefs, and then Kubota reached out, and then from there it kind of all unfolded.
Yeah, I thought I was going back to the Chiefs for my final year. Wasn't sure what was going to happen afterwards. And Kubota reached out end of November. Liam Williams decided that he wasn't going to return back to Kubota, and he was going to go back to the UK. So
Is
Kubota
that
actually
the
reached out.
Welsh fullback or?
Welsh fullback, yeah, Welsh
Yeah,
fullback. So I think he's just been selected again for the Six Nations. He
gotcha.
was originally at Kubota, and he left, and yeah, I wasn't sure what I was up to after I guess my final year with Chiefs. Obviously, I was in a bit of limbo with injuries, feedback. So yeah, I guess I was a bit undecided what I was up to, and you know, I've been at the Chiefs for about 10 years now, and obviously very close to getting my 100 games, and you know, it's I guess I've loved every moment at the Chiefs. You know, that's my home now. It's been, you know, it's all I've known since I've left school.
Yeah,
The people, the club, and whatnot, and yeah, obviously to come out and get reached out by Kubota. Originally, it was just a 6 month contract, and you know, I asked the Chiefs if they were um, keen to let me go, and well, originally I did ask for a New Zealand, if you know if they're happy with it, would they let me go? And they said, oh, if Chiefs are happy with it, then yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, you know, there's no harm in asking. Obviously, I wasn't sure what I was up to, and it's very hard for me to go to Japan as a one Test All Black, because I'm up against 50 Test All Blacks or
yeah,
50 Test Springboks, or
mm,
just like Liam Williams, like a 50 Test. Well, you know, just roughly like 50 Test Welshman, or you know, like there's only 3 Category C players per team, so 3 international players per team,
yeah,
and you know, I'm 28, so you still want to be playing high quality rugby. You know, you still got that, you know, that hunger to play good rugby. And first division team, heard a lot of great things about Kubota. It's a great spot in Tokyo, close to the airport where you fly into. You know, so I've heard a lot of great things. Great people at the club. So obviously, when they reached out, of course, I had to, I guess, really think about my future and where I wanted to end up. And I guess it was a decision I didn't take lightly, because obviously, like I said, I was only 100 games away from the Chiefs. I really want to win a Super Rugby title. I've been there for that long now, and there's a few of us boys that have been together for a while, so we've been so close the last couple of years, but haven't quite got the chocolates. So I was definitely hungry to come back and win a Super title. But then at the back of my mind, I also had to think about where I wanted to be after New Zealand rugby.
yeah,
From previous reasons of you know what's happened that year. And so yeah, so when they reached out, I asked Chase, and Chase was like, oh mate, no, like if it's, you know, I was very upfront and honest with them, and a lot of conversations going on in the background. And I said, oh, like, you know, it's a 6 month deal, like, you know, it's up to you guys. They said, well, you might as well just come back and do one more season. And I was like, yep, sweet. But they said, if you go to your deal, then we'll let you go. Kind of just turned around and that kind of Kubota turned around and said, oh yeah, we'll give you a 2-year deal, and obviously, yeah, got to that stage, and then a couple of things happened in the pipeline, and it kind of got put on the back burner, and I mean, it's a bit of a first. I mean, not sure what's going to happen in terms of for future, like, for other players down the track. But I guess all I want to do was just get up to Japan and play and I guess give that thanks back to Kubota, who obviously thought of me in that way, and coming up and helping their team get a lot, to be better, and also to I guess have my influence and as a player in their team and their organisation. So it's kind of I guess the basic the basic what's the called
rundown of everything.
rundown of it. So
with the Chief lads off you, bro, because you skip the Japan preseason, you rock up in season, play a couple games, you skip the Chiefs preseason. It looks like they're getting flogged at the moment, and you just come back in round 4. You're 4 games off 100. You'll become the 11th Centurion. Hopefully win a Super Rugby title, and then back to Japan. I'm sure there's been a bit of banter amongst the lads.
Yeah, to be honest, there hasn't been too much. I mean, there's been a few photos of my locker at Chiefs getting taken over, and the boys are putting rubbish all over it and stuff like that. But I mean, I think I've earned the respect of, I guess, a few people in that building, and like I said, mate, I was very upfront and honest with them. I mean, it is what it is. It's one of those things that it's just life. Like, I can't control that. Kubota are going to come to me. I can't control what's happened the last few weeks, and I can't control what happens in the next few weeks. So all I know that is, I'm just looking forward to the next 5-game block with Kubota, and whatever happens, and wherever I'll be, I'll just keep giving my put my best foot forward, and we'll go from there. But I guess it's like I said, it's been a pretty roller coaster. I guess the whole year of last year as well, with injuries, getting back to some form, moving to Japan, coming back to New Zealand. I guess it's been a pretty out of it, I guess, for an athlete or for a rugby player to do all that. But like I said, it's I wouldn't change it for a thing, and it's just part of the career. You only get so much rugby in your life professionally, and so I'll just take it out as how it comes, and put my best foot forward.
You've already played TJ Perenara in week 1. You look at the competition around there. There's your mate Bryn Gatlin. There's Richie Moanga, Frizzell, Joey Manu, which is quite cool to see too. Does that almost bring like another element to it, a chance to play against guys who you've played against over here, but then also guys like Joey Manu and that? Like, you're still in a really high level competition and experiencing something completely different.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's obviously attracting a lot more high profile players to come play in Japan, and like I said, it's actually, like, I was very impressed with how high speed the footy was, and I mean, being able to, I guess, play against like high quality players like that, still over that side of the world in Japan, it's obviously very exciting for players like myself, but obviously for viewers as well to and I think, to be honest, like, it's only going to get better and better each year. And even just speaking to the boys, like 7 years ago, it was nowhere near as good as the competition and how it's evolved and changed over time. And obviously, like I said, I've only played 30 minutes, and 30 minutes was like, man, this is pretty good. Like, obviously you got to go in with an open mind, but I mean, the 30 minutes that I got to play in, it was high tempo footy, which which suits my game. So I mean, very exciting for people at home to be watching, or even in Japan. Like the culture is so cool. They, first time getting out of the bus, and there's 1,000 people just outside,
Oh,
behind the gates, taking photos, cheering you on. So it's just a cool culture to get amongst, and obviously very stoked to be there, and the Orange Army showing out last Saturday. That's Kubota's loyal fan base. So it was awesome just to, I guess, experience something new, which you
yeah.
don't get in New Zealand.
Orange Army, right there. I do have to ask, bro, over the off season, my DMs were going wild because all these rumors were flying around about you switching across to the 13-man game. And obviously, it's great having you in rugby. You're an unreal footy player, but that rugby league side, was that ever as close as what people say it was? Because all these rumors, like Warriors, everything, everyone was hitting me up constantly, being like, "Let's sign Shaun Stevenson." I think even people were faking that there was a signing coming at certain times. Like, how close actually was it? Because you had the Redcliffe trip a couple years back. Was this kind of on that level, or were you just exploring all options? What was the go?
I wouldn't say it was on the Redcliffe level.
Hmm.
Going to meet um, Wayne Bennett and go to his farm and talk code about, we want you to come over, obviously for the inaugural Dolphins team. That was pretty real.
Yeah,
I did have conversations with league teams at the end of last year. I guess just feeling out what I wanted to do. I've always been fascinated about playing league, and giving it a good go at it coming from rugby. There was definitely conversations, and mate, it's obviously a very short window to give something new a crack. And 28 now, so it was kind of one of those times. I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have to do it now. But I guess just in terms of um, what I could be earning overseas compared to league, where I'd have to probably restart again to get to a decent spot, was probably the ultimate thing that I guess I want to set myself up and set my family up long term. It probably just wasn't the right decision at that time. I mean, if I was 3 or 4 years younger, and I was in a spot like I was last year with injuries and still had a lot to give on coming into my prime, then 100% I probably would have locked it in after getting my All Blacks debut. I guess that was that one thing that, when I was going to go to Redcliffe, that was the one thing that I guess I really wanted to tick off,
yeah,
being a Kiwi and growing up from the age of 2 or 3 years old. That's all you know, is just you want to be an All Black when you're young. So there was definitely conversations in the background, but ultimately it just came down to what I wanted in the next few years, and I guess had to start thinking about what life after footy looked like as well. And obviously, but gotta never say never now. Well, never say never. Who knows what could happen? Like I said, it's been a pretty crazy last couple of weeks, but at the moment, I'm staying in the 15-man co game, and yeah, obviously playing for Kubota, and playing well for them is the main focus right now.
did want to ask about one of your old teammates that has made the move, Moses Leo, gone across from the mighty Harbour Heat, and I'm sure you gave him a couple of try assists this year, which probably helped him get the deal. I'm sure that caught Bellamy's attention, but he's gone over to the Melbourne Storm, bro. Just in terms of athletically, how do you reckon he'll go? Is it something you've spoken to him about? Because obviously he was ripping up for New Zealand Sevens. He's decided to make the jump. Melbourne, a pretty strong system. I think he has all the potential to be great, but you probably know him closer than I do. What do you reckon he'll go in league?
Mate, one word is athleticism. He's got everything, um, and he's just he gets the right coaching, which he will at Melbourne Storm through Craig Bellamy. He's gone probably to the right club to get that coaching. But all we had to do was look at what his form is like in sevens, and even playing for North Harbour last year is outstanding. Just what he brings to a team, and transferring that into league, I think it fits his skill set perfectly. So I'm very excited to see how he goes. Yeah, he's going to have no issues playing in the centres or on the wing. So I'm very excited for someone who's played rugby and going and giving that 30 man a crack, and I guess yeah, proving a lot of people probably coming from the rugby side wrong in terms of he can that rugby players can fit into the league game as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to see a couple guys making that jump too, like Carter Gordon, Mark Noonga Netuasi, one of your other teammates, Tyrone Thompson. Do you reckon this is going to be something that happens more regularly, or did you find personally like it's still pretty nerve-wracking, right, to make that jump across? So it kind of you have to be in a certain age bracket or at a certain level in order to make the jump. Is it still too scary for All Blacks that are 28 years old to make the leap across?
Yeah, I guess it just depends on what club and who really wants you. You know what I mean? It's um, yeah, I guess it is scary going to a different code, but if you look at what boys have gone across, it's Tyron's gone to a spot where his gone to the Knights where his brother is, so he's got that security of having family members in his team. You got Mark who's just gone from Waratahs to the Roosters, so he still gets to live in Sydney, and then Carter, I mean, has gone from Melbourne to Gold Coast. So, sorry, mate.
No, you're good.
Um, so it's the Japanese TV going
Oh,
on. So I guess, yeah, I mean, Carter's gone from Melbourne to Gold Coast, but you get to live on Gold Coast, and he's obviously got a family and stuff like that. So I guess it is probably scary, but I guess probably most of the boys all played touch when they were younger. They probably had a little bit of mix playing league when they were younger. And we've seen so many boys, I guess, go from rugby, college, playing rugby at college and first 15 and making a move across the league. So, I mean, it's obviously scary, but I think it'll be pretty easy once you get the hang of it and what kind of systems they're running. It'll be pretty easy to pick up. I'm not saying it's going to be easy overall, but just in terms of the systems and I guess in rugby there's a lot of systems going on between defense and attack. So yeah, I'm sure you don't have to look at how good they've been playing in rugby. They're smart enough footy players to probably pick it up. So no, it's exciting, very exciting for rugby players, to go over and being able to give the chance. But yeah, there's only a small window, I reckon, of between age and I guess where you are in your career where you want to make the move or stay in rugby. So yeah, once a few boys I reckon go good at it, there'll be a few more going across.
Mate, we touched before on your eventful off season, and one of the things for me was chasing the fox, Mo, because that was a sick event. I was obviously a caddy, so got to get a small taste of it. But you, as a player, like I was nervous just carrying the bags. I can't imagine how you were feeling. Golf, she's a pretty cruel game at the best of times, but the event itself is unreal, and it's such a cool concept. Keeps going up levels every year. But how was your experience, bro, in chasing the fox, and what were the nerves like for that one?
Oh mate, it was. Yeah, I'm going to blame a couple of boys for taking me out the night before for a few tubes and being hungover because, mate, I was awful. I was honestly awful. It was so bad. The only time I had a good hole was the first hole,
Bro, which is
and
crucial, because that's when
that was just
everyone's there,
crucial. But
right?
after that, I was no good. I was yeah. So, but what an event! Like you said, um, it just brings so many people together. It's what's needed in golf in New Zealand. And it also shows that we're all human as well. That athletes aren't all good at everything, and I was not good at golf that day. So yeah, pretty gutted with myself how I played. But as an overall event, obviously shout out to Red Bull for getting me suited up. But yeah, probably one time and done for me. I'll go be a spectator next year and have a laugh at someone else.
Yeah, well, I was rattled, bro, because I only saw your first tee shot, and obviously it was unreal. So when I was talking to people after, and they were like, "Oh, Shoots didn't have the greatest day," I couldn't believe it. But I thought you got off to a
Oh,
flyer. It obviously unfolded from there.
Yeah, I actually had a big bomb off the first tee, and then
Mm.
I probably and then we managed to save par, and I hit the putt from about 20 foot, 15, 20 foot. So I thought, yeah, I'm on here. I was
Mm.
hitting it quite nice in the driving range as well, but that's like everyone, right? Hitting it good in the driving range, and then you come out onto the course, and yeah, first hole, obviously all good because obviously a lot of people, and you're just honestly the palms are sweaty. You know, you're like
Yeah.
far out. Like I don't want to kill someone off the tee box because they're like literally only like 5 to 10 meters of like
Yeah.
grass, and these people standing around there. So no, I was happy with the first hole, but I wasn't happy with the next 5 holes. So yeah, I'll be happy to be a spectator next year.
Nah, fair, fair. So in terms of moving forward, I guess you got the bye this week, then that 5 week block you were talking about. I guess for the team, coming fifth at the moment, so it's just about racking up dubs, right, and staying in contention because it's top four over in that comp, isn't it?
I think they've changed it this year, so it's top
Oh yeah.
six. So the top two get a bye first week. The bottom
Mm.
four will play a quarter final, and um, then it goes into semis after that. So I think they've changed it up a bit this year, which is quite a cool concept
Mm.
way to do it. Yeah, so sitting fifth, and over there they do 5 week blocks, so 5 games by, 5 games by.
Oh wow.
Um, so yeah, it's yeah very exciting, and I've only been there a couple of weeks now, so I guess the boys, you don't want to be peaking too early, and obviously just getting some wins on the board. Obviously some ugly wins. They've had to draw one loss, 3 wins, one draw, one loss. So yeah, you can only just keep, I guess, um, going up slowly and making sure that each week you're putting in a better performance and start clicking and obviously new combinations each week.
Mm.
There's about 60-man squads, so there's a lot of players to pick from. There's no club rugby. There's
Oh
a
what?
couple of development games. Yeah, there's about 60 boys in our squad. So
Well, all
um,
full time? Because I saw even yesterday you guys announced like 6 new signings, and I was like, what's going on here? So
yeah, I'm not
what's
sure if it's full. Well, most of them are full time. I'd probably say like 40 to 50 are at least full time. I'm not too sure
wow?
the ins and outs, but um, yeah, they're all company workers, so they still like they'll be working for the company, and then once the season's in, then they'll be full time. And there is some full time jet boys as well. So still just learning what the how it goes, and
Yeah,
but yeah, obviously there's a lot of players. So when we have training, there's a lot of boys on the field because, well, 15 versus 15, and then a lot of boys coming in and out because, yeah, obviously everyone needs to have a crack. So, but yeah, it's pretty intense, but
yeah.
it's cool though.
Oh, well, appreciate it, bro. Obviously, bye week, so I won't hold you up too much. I would say look forward to watching you, but man, those streams, what's the
Oh
go
mate,
there, bro? You sent through the link and there was a couple games,
yeah,
but it's tough, eh? It's tough to find the games.
yeah. Normally, like even last year, was it like I think TVNZ was showing them, but I
Yeah,
think yeah, I'm not too sure what the go is, but I mean, yeah, like you said, there's so many Kiwis playing in it now. Someone needs to start showing it because
yeah,
whether it's TVNZ or Sky, I think Sky used to show it back in the day.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, we'll just have to keep trying those streams because
Right.
obviously a lot of family want to watch in New Zealand as well, but it's pretty
Yeah,
tough trying to find the where to watch it. You kind of need to express VPN to
yeah.
um, to get onto the Japanese servers. So,
Mm.
but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, legend. Well, appreciate it, bro, and no doubt I'll catch you in a couple of weeks or 5 or 6 weeks time, maybe. But in the meantime, just keep racking up those dubs and enjoy Japan, breather.
Right, cheers, brother. Appreciate it, eh?
Rugby league, lots gone on, of course, but going to focus mainly on your Warriors news. We've had Leo Thompson signing to the Dogs from 2026. We've had Reece Robson going to the Roosters. We've also had the old Ezra Mam update in terms of his punishment from the NRL. But I thought I'd focus mainly on stuff for Warriors fans, plus give you my top 5 new recruits for 2025. Next week then, I'll run through most teams' pickups, the sides that I think have recruited the best and the worst, because there's been a lot of movement across the off-season. Some teams have battled, some teams have done really well. I'll have a couple hot takes for you, and then I'll get into some predictions and some futures as well as we look to build towards that pre-season footy. We're only 2 weeks away. Warriors, Sharks at Shark Park. How bloody good is that? First thing I wanted to touch on is this Dylan Brown chat. Of course, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you'll be well aware of what is going on at the moment with Dill Bags. He's got this clause in his contract. By round 10, he can activate it to decide whether he stays at Parramatta for next year or whether he looks to take his talents and his services elsewhere. Straight away, a player like Dylan Brown, there's going to be multiple clubs sniffing around, and I really do rate that email from his agent and the fact that he was surprised the email got leaked. Came out, said he's a franchise player, said to send through your expressions of interest and then he'll arrange meetings with Dill Bags himself. Of course, that email straight away out into the media. I can't believe the bloke thought that that would be kept under wraps, especially in a game like rugby league. But maybe that was all part of the tactics as well, really get the message out there, get people talking about him and these clauses and push up his market value. Straight away, teams that come to mind and teams that have put their hand up, I believe. The Dolphins, they've already expressed some interest. I know the Roosters, they will have to be keen as well. They've got a massive war chest, a shit ton of cash, both on the salary cap and then probably through the back door as well. That is all allegedly. Apparently the Wallabies are in the mix too, but I can't see that being of interest to Dylan. Surely grew up in New Zealand, a proud Kiwi, current Kiwi 6, lived here till he was 16. Sure, Joseph Suaalii got lured over there for big bickies, but you'd have to hope Dill wearing the green and gold, that isn't in his near future. Of course, the team, though, the one that I hope is in the mix too, the mighty One New Zealand Warriors. And to me, this would make a shit ton of sense. Of course, a proud Northland lad, good friends with James Fisher-Harris, so straight away, the impact of having Fish at the club could prove to be very fruitful. He's 24 years old. When you look at our halves at the moment, the thought of teaming him up with someone like a Luke Metcalf, who's already expressed that he would love to wear the 7 jersey, that would give us Dill Bags at 24, Lukey Met at 25. That's a halves pairing that A, puts bums on seats, incredibly good looking, both talented footballers as well, but it's also one that you could see lead us into the future until someone like a Jet Cleary, a Luke Hansen, is ready to be injected into this team too. As a Warriors fan, I really hope we're in the mix for Dill Bags. Ticks almost every box that we're after. Yes, he's going to be after a lot of money too, but due to the retirement of Tohu, moving on of Adam Fanua-Blake, SJ retiring, we must have some money in the cap, and I would love to see us go after him. Of course, we made a big play for him. I think it was back in 2019 when he first burst onto the scene. Offered him a big long-term deal. Timing wasn't quite right. I think if he does leave Para, then surely us and the Chooks would have to be right up there as the favourites to land him. So certainly watch this space. Again, this is just me speculating, but hopefully if Dylan Brown is fair dinkum about moving on from the Eels, I would hope at least he would entertain the option of coming to the Warriors, because the thought of having him lace up the boots regularly at Mount Smart is incredibly exciting. We bring home a current Kiwis half to pair him with Fish and the likes. That would be unreal. The other player which has popped up, of course, over the last week or so, Ronaldo Mulatalo. Apparently his agent has gone to the Broncos and inquired as to if they would be keen for his services next year. Rumours he wants up to $700K, which would make things difficult for the lads from Brisbane. Of course, Kiwi born and raised, but moved to Brisbane fairly early, I think, so he considers that part of the world almost his home. They do have Selwyn Cobbo and Katoni Staggs both off contract next year, though. Madge has already come out and said that he wants to lock both of them down. Add to that, they've recruited Grant Anderson too. Surely they don't have enough in their cap with the Benny Hunt addition as well to then go out and throw $700K at a winger. Of course, Madge does have that connection with Ronaldo through being the Kiwis coach, but I just can't see this happening. That is a lot of money to have invested into your outside backs. Again, though, the club that pops up for me, incredibly biased, the Warriors. Would we want him? I'm happy with our starting wingers at the moment, assuming that it's going to be Dell and Roger, but I think anytime someone of Ronaldo's class comes onto the market, he would absolutely be a great get. Maybe he wants to return to the motherland, maybe he's happy just to stay in Cronulla, and again, this is just an agent looking to push up his value and test the market to try get some more coin for his player, but you'd have to think, again, anytime a player in the Kiwis pops up, I want to see our name in the mix. Griffin Neem, another one who I think is off contract next year. Would love to see us throw our cards in the ring, more so for Ronaldo and Dylan, because I think our young forwards in particular really do have the future looking bright. But another name, Ronaldo Mulatalo, to closely monitor as the season drags on. When you've got money in the cap, you want to spend it. There's no point in keeping it in your pockets. It doesn't roll over to the next year. So hopefully we are in the bidding and we could lure one of those two back to Mount Smart. Of course, she's been an eventful couple of months at Mount Smart as well. The news of the Tohu Harris retirement, which I think really did take everyone by shock the moment it was announced. Of course, he's been battling with that wrist injury, but I thought he'd recovered from that off-season surgery. Just assumed that he was good to go, was back at pre-season, but clearly he was still battling and unfortunately said he wasn't able to recover and return to full health. Of course, a big loss for our side in terms of leadership and work rate. We do have some capable replacements though. The saddest part for me, unfortunately, won't get that Mount Smart send-off that I think he deserves. He's been an unreal footballer for us. His work rate, his leadership, playing ability, you just know every time he wears the jersey, you're getting at least an 8 out of 10. I think the physios will be relieved. There'll be a fair bit of money now in the old strapping tape budget, but what a player he's been, an incredible skipper as well, led us through that COVID period, and he's going to be greatly missed. So for me, and I chucked it up on my Insta a couple weeks back, we have 2 genuine replacements and then a third possible bolter. I love Aaron Clark starting in that 13 jersey. The more I think about it, walks off the bench for me in 2023. He was that game breaker. His fast foot speed, his energy, him coming on at around the 25 to 30 minute mark. Last year, that period before halftime and just after halftime is where I thought at times we looked a little lost. Having Walks come on there, his experience, his ball playing ability and his energy, I reckon that would go a long way to fixing that. You let Clark go out there, start, do the tough stuff, then you roll Walks on, and he can still play big minutes off the bench as well. Of course, Walks has that established combination with the majority of the spine already, so he is a great starting option too. I just think in terms of rotation, having Clark start and then Walks off the Remu, the more I think about it, the more that option jumps out at me. The bolter though, Liquor, I reckon he could be a chance to wear the 13 or at least spend a fair bit of time there. And this Tohu Harris retirement for me then opens up a bench space for him to come in. And I reckon he's going to be the biggest beneficiary for this. We've seen how talented this young guy is. The club's extended him long term. They're really keen to keep him around. Could this be the year where Liquor gets regular minutes and really gets to show how talented and how big of a future this kid has? That alone has me incredibly excited. For me, the skipper, the captaincy, I'd probably give it to Mitch Barnett, to be honest. Interim captain last year. I think he's earned the right to wear the captain's armband. Was our best player. New South Wales and Kangaroos debut. Leads from the front. Already has the respect of the full playing team and the staff. Not that Fish doesn't. I just think Mitch has earned the right to have first crack at it. Of course, Fish, he's going to lead anyway. He's a natural born leader, more so by his actions than his words, so I'm told. But he's one of those guys, if he tells you to do something or he does it, you follow him into battle straight away. And when you look at the other players in the squad, the leadership group is going to be really strong. You got the likes of Dylan Walker, Dallin Watene-Zalesniak, Chance Nickel-Klokstad, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Wade Egan. All of these guys have been leaders amongst our squad for a couple of years now, so I just think having Mana Mitch at the top of this, it's the recognition and the acknowledgement he deserves for how much he's done for our club already. Speaking of Fish, seeing those first images of him in Warriors kit, shit did that have me up and about over the summer break. Early January, the Warriors social media crew dropped that video and those photos of him rocking up to training, and geez, that was almost dent in your desk type of stuff. He's just got a real presence about him, doesn't he? Current Kiwis captain, he just looks like he means business, and he's one of those guys, as soon as he walks into the building, you can't help but get around him, whether it's out of fear or admiration. He's just got a real presence. I can't wait to see the impact that he has on our club. Loving the looks of what I've seen from pre-season overall as well. The boys look fit. There's a bit of a reset there, you'd have to think, in terms of no SJ, no Adam, no Tohu, no Jazz, no Marcelo. It's been quite a high turnover. It's also been a long pre-season. One of the benefits of not playing finals footy last year is that the lads get to get in there early and get into their work. So it seems like they've established a really cool culture, and I can't wait to see how that leads to the results on the field. They've been training hard, doing camps, heading out to Bethel's, screaming through the dunes. We're only 2 weeks out from the preseason challenge kicking off now. Man, this is where things start to get really excited as rugby league fans. Every year the off-season seems to drag on, and this one certainly has done that, but we're now on the verge of getting things back underway. The 4 Vegas teams, they'll feature in week 1 of that preseason challenge. Us versus the Sharkies at Shark Park to kick us off on Friday the 7th. Then you got the Panthers versus the Raiders on the 8th. No doubt the players, they can't wait to rip into it. It means those grueling fitness sessions, the majority of them are done now. Your wrestling, your grappling, all of that moves to the back burner, and all of a sudden you're picking up a stead and you're throwing the footy around and you're getting excited to play some code. The first trial, that's always an interesting one for me as well. I think we'll see a few young guys get an opportunity, which is incredibly exciting because our young guns, I genuinely believe, are up there with the best in the competition. So seeing them show that they've got what it takes already and really push to make that 17 is going to be unreal. We also get that potential AFB matchup straight away. No doubt a few players will have a point to prove there. Incredibly exciting times for footy fans. She's just around the corner. You can almost smell it. Finally, before we move on from NRL, just wanted to touch on my top 5 new recruits for 2025. There's been a lot of player movement. Some teams have recruited really well. When you look at the Dragons, adding guys like Clint Gutherson, Damien Cook, Valentine Holmes, they've done great things. The Tigers, Benji's got his way well and truly there with Terrell May, Sunia Taruva, Jack Bird. They've had a big buying spree in this offseason, and their squad looks a whole lot stronger. Guys like Regan Campbell-Gillard going to the Titans. There's been some big plays, but I've gone through and I've picked out the 5 for me which stand out the most. I'll be keen to hear your guys' top 5 as well, so feel free to fire them through. In 5th, I had Stefano Utoikamanu heading to the Melbourne Storm from the West Tigers. In my opinion, he's one of the best young forwards in the game. He's already had a small taste of Origin, but the thing holding him back, right, is best games outstanding. Then his average games, there's quite a big gap between the two. When you think of the Melbourne Storm system, this is exactly where they do their best work. They grab a player with a truckload of potential, perhaps lacking a little bit of consistency, and they turn them into that standout player every week. Think your Ali Katoas and your Shaun Bloors. I reckon under Bellamy and amongst this Melbourne Storm spine, Stefano is going to go to another level. They're a team which didn't lose a lot last year. Plus, they've got a couple nice additions. They're well and truly right up there in terms of your favourites to take out the premiership. And I reckon Stefano, alongside someone like Nelson Asafa-Solomona, could well prove to be the difference that gets them across the line. Penrith, they've lost a couple bodies, so maybe this is the premiership winning move. And I reckon he's going to be huge for them. In 4, I had Zach Lomax, one of the best backs in the comp last year. Carved up for the Dargans, carved up for New South Wales, unfortunately carved up for the Kangaroos as well. He's such an attacking talent, athletic as, great under the high ball, got the skill set of doom, plus he's a great goal kicker. I reckon teaming up with Mitchie Moses and his ball playing ability is going to take his game to another level as well. So I think he's going to have a huge impact for Parramatta. In 3, Adam Fanua-Blake, huge signing for the Sharks. The Sharkies, they've been there or thereabouts for the last couple of seasons, either going down in prelims or always playing finals footy, but they seem like a team that's just lacked that one final piece in their roster, and I 100% reckon that AFB could be that. He's been the best prop in the game for me over the last 2 seasons. Not only is he big body, he's got a high work rate, can play big minutes, PCMs of doom, offload game, plus he's an elite elite attacking and try-scoring threat. He's a strike prop who can bend the line, and I can just see guys like Nico Hines, Tricky Trindle, and Brayley just going to another level off the back of the ruck speed that Adam Fanua-Blake will create. So I reckon he's a massive get for the Sharkies, and he could well prove to be the key missing cog for them as well. Jerome Luai, got him in too. The Tigers needed this signing. A bloke who's the ultimate competitor, loves to win, willing to do whatever it takes to get the dub. He's a 4-time straight premiership winner, wore the 7 jersey when he led Samoa to the Rugby League World Cup finals as well. He's come back to pre-season early, didn't have to do that, but he's checked in and revved up the lads, setting the tone and already having an immediate impact, just raising those standards that you need in order to be a winning team. He's a big get for them. He'll have a massive impact in turning around the Tigers over the next couple years if he chooses to stay, and I'm really excited about that combo of him and Lockie Galvin. They have the potential to be one of the most exciting halves combos in the competition for sure. And then at 1, incredibly biased, but I think a lot of people will agree, James Fisher-Harris coming to the mighty Warriors, the Kiwi skipper at the Wars. Something about that just seems so right. Of course, I've already spoken on it a couple times in this pod. It's well noted, but there is a big gap in experience due to Tohu, AFB, and SJ all not in the team this year, so I reckon he's the perfect get. A natural-born leader through his actions, a world-class footballer on the paddock. He drives standards, holds people accountable. He's an enforcer, plays a Warriors style of footy as well. He's just a proud Kiwi coming home. This ticks every box for me, and I can't wait to see what JFH does in the Warriors colours in 2025. So those are my top 5 new recruits for this season for the old NRL. Next week, I'll run you through my rookies, some players to watch, got some hot takes as well as some season predictions, so looking forward to that. Flick through your best 5 recruits though. I'll be keen to hear your thoughts. Benny Hunt, he was close to the mix. Aaron Clark, Tanner Boyd, Sam Healy, Jazz Tavanga, they were all close too. Shout out to them. But let me know yours. There were plenty to choose from. Shit, maybe you could chuck a couple coaches in the mix. Madge and Wayne Bennett as well. There's been so much movement going on. It's going to make for a bloody exciting season. Right, weekly wrap. Thought I'd kick her off with the old Sale GP, of course. Headed out onto the Big Blue last weekend. Watched these teams get up on the foils. Fair to say, I've seen many a lad or lass up on the foils in the Auckland Viaduct before, but this was next level. These boats were moving close to 100 Ks, I believe, top speed. These boats are incredibly impressive, and in a way, for me, it's almost already overtaken the America's Cup. I really do hope Auckland can hold on to this event long term as well. It had the public support, the stands were sold out, bums on seats often leads to events coming back, so hopefully that is the case for next year. Unfortunately, the Black Foils couldn't get the dub. The Aussies, old Slingsbury, too good, but they certainly showed promise. We just couldn't nail our starts. Fought back hard in a lot of these races, but ended up just running out of time on the course. There's just something about this event, though. The helicopters flying around for the TV coverage, all the boats out there on the ocean. It's a pretty cool feeling and a great spectacle to be a part of. So hopefully 2026 back in Auckland can get back out on the water too. She is a long day. I think the first race was at 4 p.m. We're to be out of the harbour by 11 a.m. So you certainly want to pack your supplies and be well prepared for a big day at the crease. But a great event. Certainly caught my interest, and I'm going to be a bit more invested in the old Sale GP this year. Get up the Black Foils, Burling and Co. to turn her around in Sydney. NFL playoffs. Huge weekend last weekend. Chiefs bet the Texans. That was same old stuff for Mahomes and Kelsey. You just know come finals time. And they're one of those teams, right? For 12, 13 weeks, you worry about them. Everyone's talking about them. They don't have what it takes this year to go and win it again, but you just know come final time, they find another gear, they do it consistently. When you got Patty Mahomes at quarterback, you're always at least in with a sniff of pulling off wins, especially come finals time. They were too good for the Texans, as predicted. The Commanders, first big upset of the weekend, 45-31 over my bandwagon team in the Detroit Lions. This was heartbreaking for me, of course. Well known, I'm a Browns fan. we were never a shit show in making the playoffs, so I jumped on Detroit just because I love what they're about. Their coach Campbell, he's the man. They're a franchise that hasn't experienced success in a very long time. They've been building over the last couple years, and I really did think, injuries aside, that this was going to be the year where they perhaps got it done. But Jaden Daniels had other plans, leading Washington to their first divisional championship game since 1992, and in doing so, he becomes just the 6th rookie quarterback to lead his team to the NFC Championship game. That is unreal. This kid is a gun. He's got a great arm on him, and the Commanders, they've just punched well above their weight all year. They were one of those teams where I thought this was just going to be a stretch too far, but they showed up and well and truly exceeded expectations. While I said I was gutted for the Lions, I was incredibly happy for them too. And you can't help but find yourself almost jumping on the Commanders bandwagon from now. Although hopefully I'm not the curse which cost the Lions, and it could be the downfall of them. The Eagles, they bet the Rams 28 points to 22 off the back of another monster effort from Saquon Barkley as well. 205 rushing yards, 2 TDs. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Surely Giants fans are absolutely punching themselves in the Shaun Johnson that they let this bloke go. Rough day for Hurts. He picked up an injury as well, which will be a big talking point throughout the week. Struggled to throw the ball. I think he totaled for under 130 throwing yards, got sacked 7 times as well. A lot of that came down to that injury, though. He was really struggling to move in the pocket. He did have a TD rush in there, which probably saved his stat line a little, but Quan, again, just carrying the heavy load on the offense for sure. And then the big fella, Jalen Carter, massive for them on defense in getting the win and holding off a pretty decent Rams side. Then the big game, the one everyone was getting bums on seats for, Bills taking on the Ravens, the two main candidates in your MVP race. In terms of quarterbacks anyway, many people saying Saquon could be in there, but we all know the MVP, she seems to be a quarterback award. But the Ravens, they went oh so close to potentially forcing overtime. Mark Andrews dropping the ball on a 2-point conversion, basically in the end zone. And saying that, Buffalo, they would have got the ball back with about 1:30 to spare and a couple timeouts out their sleeve, so there's no guarantees. Josh Allen wouldn't have just marched down there. They kick a field goal, and it was game over anyway. But this one certainly lived up to the hype. It was a real roller coaster. Towards the end there, you got that feeling as well this was going to be another heartbreaking loss for Bills fans. In the end, they hold on, though. A few Lamar Jackson errors really cost the Ravens too. Conditions in this one and the Philly game, a real Daryl Tuffy. She was snowing basically Mount Ruapehu over there in the States, which made for some interesting plays. Tough on receivers and quarterbacks. Buffalo clinch their ticket, though, their spot to take on the defending champs in KC. That game will go down, of course, Monday Arvo. Before that one, though, the first of your finals, Monday morning, 9 a.m. on ESPN for the NFC Championship. You'll get the Commanders up against the Eagles. Talk more about these games in the punting segment. Then Bills KC to follow that. It's 3-2 to the Bills in the last 5 matchups, but they've met 6 times in the playoffs. The Bills have only won 2 out of those 6. They've lost the last 3 straight. Last time they bet them in the playoffs, 1994. So you could say this just has vintage Mahomes stamped all over it. Jumping across to the Aussie Open. Huge game last night for me, of course. Recording this Wednesday, Arvo. Djokovic, 4-set win over Alcaraz. Booked himself into the semi up against Zverev, the second seed. Winner of that, I reckon, could well take it out. Over in the women's draw, tough to see the number 1 seed Sabalenka be beaten. I think she's going to be too classy and take out the women's. I think that final is on Sunday or Saturday. Then the men's final on Sunday. Either way, both finals this weekend, so looking forward to that. In the golf, shout out to Dan Hillier, second in Dubai, $1.7 million payday. Also books himself a spot in the comp on the tour next year. So how good is that? Early doors to have that relief, a bit of financial relief as well. Well done to him, and shout out to Foxy, who went well in this tournament too. AFC, best football side in the world, behind the mighty Liverpool, of course. A 3-0 win for them up against Melbourne at home in front of the Port. 3 goals in the first half, 1 real screamer as well. Bit of a storm week for them. They play tonight, Wednesday night, and then they have another game Sunday up against Western Sydney. So that's a pretty tough stretch. If you can get 2 wins from those 3 games, then that would be a pretty good result. Liverpool, mentioned them before, top of the Prem and a huge Champions League win as well, up against LOSC Lille. Probably butchered that absolutely, but hey, that is what it is. Mo Salah with another goal, and then the great man Harvey Elliott with a 67th minute screamer too. You'll never walk alone. We're absolutely doing the double. And then finally, to wrap her up on your weekly wrap, just thought we'd touch on some UFC action. Of course, there were some fights on the weekend. I think everyone predicted all of those results. What did get announced though, or confirmed, because the rumours had been out for a while, Dan Hooker up against Gaethje, UFC 313 in Vegas the week after the Warriors play there. So it's the following weekend. Surely, Warriors fans, we're staying on to get behind our man, old Dan Hangman. This is going to be a heck of a fight. Both guys are going to come out swinging. Someone is going to get slept. It's going to be extremely eventful. 2 Warriors, so really looking forward to that one. What it does really highlight for me too, this UFC 312 card, an absolute flop. Of course, over in Sydney early next month, the best Kiwi and Aussie fighters, they're fighting elsewhere around that date. You got Carlos Ulberg, Jack Della Maddalena over in London. You got Izzy fighting next weekend. Shit, the build-up for that one has been pretty low-key. Of course, a fight night card, his first non-title fight since 2019 though, so really looking forward to that. And then you got Dan Hooker in Vegas in early March. UFC Sydney, extremely disappointing. I think the tickets are out $1,000 too. You'd expect to see some headline big dogs from either Aussie or New Zealand stepping into the octagon, and it just doesn't look like that's going to happen. So disappointing stuff there for fight fans over this side of the Tasman. Plenty of sport going on. Missed a few things off as well, but maybe we'll cover those next week on the pod. Punting chat time now. Of course, as I mentioned in the intro, Karaka Millions this weekend. There's that bonus cash code in the promotion section on the app or the website. Check it out. The TAB will match 1% of your deposit as bonus cash. You'd be silly not to use that. I certainly have. And then try ride home some horses on your Saturday. The ponies are neighing and the bet slips are paying. It's always a great time. I'll be in the old Boys Get Paid syndicate too, buying some shares in that. Looking forward to it. Of course, Monday though, that is the big event for punting this weekend. The NFL doubleheader. First game, Philly at home, $1.35 favourites up against the Commanders, who are $3.20 underdogs. Pretty juicy there. In terms of some stats, Philly and Washington, they split their 2 meetings this year. The first one, Daniels, the quarterback for Washington, was hurt in-game. The second one, Hurts, was also struggling with injury mid-game. So it's tough to take too much from those previous 2 clashes. A couple things to focus on from me, though. Washington's defense, they're pretty known to give up big rushing plays at times for huge yardage. Of course, that is a recipe for disaster up against Saquon and Hurts and this Eagles offense, who combined for 211 rushing yards in their first game and then 228 in the second, which leads me to believe Saquon is going to have a day. So I've chucked together a nice little same-game multi, 3+ legs for you to ride home. Missed by 1 leg, you'll get your money back as bonus cash up to $50. The first leg, Saquon, in the last 2 games against the Manders, he ran for 146 and 150 yards and ran in 2 touchdowns in each of those games. So 4 TDs in his last 2 games against this opponent. So I'm going to go Saquon, 140+ rushing yards, and him for an anytime touchdown scorer. In terms of the result, I'm hoping Washington can pull this off, although I do want to see Saquon get a ring as well as a real up yours to the Giants. An interesting point though, the Commanders, they haven't lost a game by more than 8 points this season since round 1, so teasing that line out makes huge sense here. So I'm going to take them at a +10.5, which is well above that 8. So Saquon, 140+ rushing yards and a touchdown. Commanders +10.5 line. $5.21 that's paying, so jump on board. Your second game, Chiefs at home, $1.75 favourites, Buffalo $2.10 underdogs. KC, they've been pumping out the under results in recent weeks. They've gone 6 of their last 7 games, the unders total, which is set at 47.5. So I'm going Chiefs under 47.5. I'm going Kareem Hunt, one of the greats from the Browns. Sad to see him go, but good to see him flourishing elsewhere. He's scored a touchdown in each of his last 3 games. And then I'm also just going to back KC straight up to get the win. Playoff times, you back Paddy Mahomes. That returns $7.91. Again, missed by 1. Bonus back, you beauty. In the tennis, men's side, I like Sinner versus Djokovic as your final, paying $2. And then I also like Novak as your futures outright winner at $3. If you want something to ride home there on the Aussie Open. Big Bash final, odds not out yet. Second semi tonight for me, but have a flutter on that once it's decided. Been loving the Big Bash. A-League, big week for AFC, as I mentioned before, but I'm still going to back them in on Sunday up against the 8th placed Western Sydney Wanderers. We're paying $2.50 to win. Get up the Black Knights, well and truly riding them home. NBA, Thursday, 9 games, action-packed for you today. Pistons, Hawks, Rockets, Cavs, T-Wolves, Mavs, Warriors, Kings, and Celtics, Clippers, the pick of the bunch for me. I'm going to go the Hawks at home, Cavs on the road, and Celtics on the road. Might chuck together a cheeky little same gamer on that Rockets, Cavs as well. See how I go there. Love getting on my same gamers in the NBA. That's the best thing about the NBA. This game's almost every day. She's a hissing sport for a Carmichael punch. Your bet of the week, I'm actually going to bring this back once the NRL is back in the mixer and your Super Rugby. So we'll pause a little there. Good luck on the ponies this weekend and in your NFL action in particular. Remember to use that Karaka Millions bonus cash deposit match code up to $100 that you'll find your personalized code in the old promo section on the TAB app or website. Right, that's us. First episode of Surly Talk Sports back for 2025. As always, hope you enjoyed it. A good little yarn with Shooter, some good insights there. We'll dive more into your Super Rugby, NRL, and of course, all the other sports going on next week. Can't wait for that. Shout out to the TAB. As always, really appreciate them. If you're having a punt this weekend, do so responsibly, but do so through the TAB. George Sport Potty, that's coming back post Waitangi weekend, as is One Take. I think there's an episode coming out shortly, and then after that, your mate Surly will be back in the saddle in the weeks to come too, so she's all go. It's going to be another huge year. Vegas just around the corner. Can't wait for it. Going to do some sick content around that too, so stay tuned. Have a good weekend. Go well. Big Fizz.